interested in what is true, but in what I can convince people to believe that is true. And this is a thesis which sophists try to circulate, but Marx calibrated this. There can be truth, but it is meaningless. The specific weight is what you can make people believe in. And the outstanding evidence of what I'm saying is to be found when you consider the discussion on the issue of the relevance of Christianity in the formation of Europe. Some experts stated that Europe was there before Christianity started, such as Le Goff, for instance, in an interview to Corriere della Sera, stated what I just said. But as a matter of fact, before the birth of Christianity, there was something that we could call building material, but the concrete, the cement that put together Europe was Christian thought. Other experts maintain the following. Europe was born thanks to the Enlightenment and to the French Revolution. This is the stance that mainly French scholars and experts take. Angelo Pianebianco, in Corriere della Sera, noticed the following, and I quote, "By saying so, you delete a 2,000-year history and you pretend that Europe was born yesterday. But we can philosophically explain all this. These facts I will construe from an epistemological and hermeneutical perspective. The thesis that is denied here is that the religious dimension is one of the essential bases for any society. But the determining function that Christianity performed in a European society denies all this, because it shows the opposite. So epistemologists define these facts in this manner: counterfacts. What is a counterfact? Counterfact denies what you are stating, falsifies what you are stating. And epistemologists, and please allow me to remind you that the strongest philosophy is not one that concerns content, but analytical philosophy, explaining you what underlines language and expression. So what do we do with these counterfacts? We try to do them again, to undo them. The fact is denied. The fact is shown as to be non-existent. This is what happened when an attempt was made to draft the European Constitution. In his book, Paul Villeriot provided us with a piece of news which is surprising, and I quote, "I am thinking of Lionel Jospin's maneuvers, who was calling the chairman of the European Commission, Roman Michalski, to state as unacceptable the reference to the religious tradition of Europe," and this was published September 14th, 2000. Giscard d'Estaing, in an interview published by Corriere della Sera, May 2003, in order to justify the fact that in the Constitution no mention is made of Christianity, in the foreword we introduced the word religion, but many didn't even want this. But listen to me, not only Christianity is not mentioned, but the recall of religion is made in such a manner that religion is crushed, is contracted epistemologically speaking. And I read the text from the foreword. Europe is a continent of different civilizations. Its inhabitants developed the humanitarian values, respect of religion, taking inspiration from the historical religious tradition of Europe. You can well understand that the word religion is one of the many, but almost significant, and there is a black hole. One of the most important elements of Europe is not mentioned, the scientific revolution, because Europe is well known for its scientific revolution and for the consequences that this entailed. And in order to answer your question, I referred back to a very famous poet, T.S. Eliot, who is not only a great poet, but is also a philosopher, a critic. For instance, on Dante, he wrote beautiful pages. What he maintained was that Dante was the first European poet. Eliot, in his beautiful essay, The Unity of the European Culture, wrote notes for a definition of culture. This was a conference that he held for the radio. And I tried to sum it up because it is very competent indeed and very powerful indeed. The dominant force to create a culture that is shared by different peoples, each one with its own culture, is religion. And please, do not make the mistake to anticipate what I'm about to write or to say. This is not a religious conversation. I do not mean to convert anybody here. I'm simply stating a fact that I limit myself to describe. Benedetto Croce wrote the same thing. This is a matter of fact. This is a fact. These beautiful thoughts of Eliot are less known than what Croce wrote. So I speak of a common Christian tradition that turned Europe into what it has become. In Christianity, who were those who triggered the arts? The Christian thought. An individual in Europe might believe that the Christian faith is not true, but in many things that he will state, we will find the Christian tradition. Nobody knew these writings by T.S. Eliot, and Eliot wrote, only a Christian culture could have created a Voltaire or a Nietzsche. Because if you eliminate a counter-quem, then you have nothing of Voltaire and Nietzsche. Eliot wrote, I do not believe that the European culture could survive if Christian faith would disappear. And listen to this. I'm not stating this because I'm a Christian, but I'm stating this because I am a scholar of social biology. So if Christianity disappears, our culture will disappear. So I made a computation. 3/4 of any European culture form has Christian roots. Let's think of literature starting from Dante, or let's think of architecture, the beautiful Romanesque basilicas. Let's think of painting starting from Giotto. Let's think of music starting from Bach. So In order to be precise as far as history goes, one might say, I do not believe in Christianity, I do believe in Christianity. This is something different, but the religious component is essential, whether I believe or not. Heidegger might reply, well,